Build courage to really do it. Like there's excitement, but excitement is not enough, but you must have excitement. And to keep going even when it's shitty and difficult, or even if nobody supports you. So that tenacity, maybe I'm saying Sisu, have that Sisu to do it.
Welcome to Finding America. I'm on a 13,000-mile road trip to meet Finnish Americans and figure out why they want to be here and learn about cultural differences. You'll meet exciting Finns and hear about their journeys in America. This guy is a legend. He was a CEO for an open source database startup, MySQL Ab, a Swedish company with a Finnish product that sold for $1 billion. And that was in a time when $1 billion was actually a lot of money. Mårten is also the Consul General of San Francisco for Finland and currently the CEO for HackerOne, making the world a safer place for all of us, as none of us are truly safe on the web. Oh, before we get on with the show, it would mean the world to me, and it would help me creating content like this in the future if you could subscribe, smash the like button, and maybe share this with a friend. See you next time. For someone who's never heard of you, how would you introduce yourself? What's your elevator pitch?
Professionally, I like to see myself as a company builder. So that's what I would say is the definition of what I do.
How would you define your biggest success?
I don't know, because it hasn't happened yet. I try not to think in terms of, I try to celebrate success a lot, but I try to not think that success is a moment or one thing. It's clear that I'm most famous for one particular success, but I also think that fame is not a measure of success. It feels good when people come up to you and say, wow, are you the one who did this? So it's a very good feeling, but on a deeper level, I try to separate success from whether the audience liked it. Because every now and then I'll do something amazing and nobody notices. And I sort of grant myself the right to be equally proud of something that they didn't see I did.
What is this one thing you brought up that people know you for?
Well, I was the CEO of MySQL Ab, a Swedish company with a Finnish product that we took out to the world. We became one of the biggest successes of the era, one of the biggest European tech successes ever until that point. And when we were acquired by Sun Microsystems for exactly $1 billion, back when $1 billion was a lot of money, it was like people couldn't believe it. They said that's unbelievable and amazing. And that was, at that point, a lot of people who hadn't believed in me before suddenly were congratulating me.
Yeah, your phone was ringing. Now everybody who didn't want to be your friend is like, hey, Billy, how are you doing?
Exactly. And then you're like, okay, I've been awesome all my life. Why do you congratulate me only now? You should have been cheering on me all my life because I've been this wonderful since I was born. When the whole world of websites was growing, it became one of the most essential building blocks. So it's sort of the plumbing of the current internet. There wasn't, and still aren't, many websites that haven't been using MySQL as the database. We're used by Google, by Facebook, by Yahoo, by everybody. So we really became an essential piece for everybody who's using it. But we are in the background, we are in the plumbing, so an end user wouldn't see it other than maybe through an error message every now and then that would show up. But those who are in the trade, those who develop web applications, they are in no doubt. And like when I met Mark Zuckerberg once in the early days of Facebook, and I said, so Mark, why did you decide to use exactly our database? Like there are many, why did you pick ours? And he looked at me as if I'm stupid, and maybe I am, and he said, Marten, I grew up on MySQL. Like it was such a common tool for every teenager who was developing software that there was nothing else in their mind.
That kind of does explain how you came to America, I think. You came with MySQL and that was your camp. Did you also get this white glove treatment as I've heard that when you work for a company, for example, the people who worked at Nokia and they got sent here, everything was done for them. In comparison, when I came, I had to figure out how to get a credit card. how to get all these different things to work. How was your experience coming to America?
Well, I was the CEO and I was the first one here, so there was nobody to take care of things for me or my family. We got help from our investors in finding the right schools and finding a house to rent. Everything else we had to do ourselves. But what was amazing is that our product, the MySQL product, was already famous when I arrived. So I got the white glove treatment from all of the US or all of Silicon Valley. Like wherever I went to an event, they said, "What? Are you the CEO of MySQL?" Like to them, they were like meeting a rock star when they heard what I represented. So many people come to Silicon Valley and they sort of struggle their way through it and they fight their way to success, and like they live on ramen noodles and macaronis for years and then finally they make it. We hadn't financially made it, but we were famous upon arrival. So it was just wonderful. I went to an event at Stanford University and I walked into a reception in the evening. There's Erick, Schmidt, CEO of Google. And then he yells across the whole crowd, "Marten, so good to see you, welcome." And of course, everybody is looking at, who is that guy? When the CEO of Google is greeting him like that. So that was cool.
I think you have a saying that there's money everywhere in Silicon Valley, but no more time.
It's true, yes. Yes, I do explain like the difference between the rest of the world and Silicon Valley, that here they will waste anything except time. They don't mind if money is lost, they don't mind if natural resources are lost, they don't mind if energy is consumed. Here the belief is that everything can be restored, but time cannot. So I'm not sure if I'm that extreme, but I do pay attention to time and like now we're talking about the Nordics and Finland. And if you grow up in Finland, you don't grow up with an acute sense of the value of every minute or every hour. But here you do.
As a startup or as an entrepreneur, what's the essential, how should they respect people's time?
I do think there's particular value and delight when you realize that you are in control of your own minutes and hours. It's you who decide what your attitude is at any given moment. And if you make the most out of those hours, then you will be happier. Like, it's not so much to please somebody else, it is that when you get on top of that yourself, which is really hard, then you sort of become friends with time. And then doing something fast isn't stressful, but doing something slowly can be stressful. Like it shifts. Really making good use of time becomes a joy.
Do you have any pet peeves since you've been in America that really grind your gears?
I sort of have a million of them, but when they play out in my mind, I catch myself doing it and saying, "That's not healthy for you, Marten. Like stop being worried." Like it annoys me when people are so undisciplined in traffic, sure. And it can annoy me when a meeting with many people are late or they mismanage expectations. Like I have a lot of things I could be upset about, but then I tell myself that I would be stupid to let other people's actions make me upset. Like why would I take their problems and carry them? Yeah. Let them carry them and I will just try to be untouched by it. Of course, it doesn't always succeed, but I tell myself to sort of let go of it and not. I have enough things to get upset by in myself, so why spend time getting upset about other people?
What really makes you want to stay here? Because you could go back to Finland. You've had a career here as well. Is there a reason why specifically you want to stay in America?
I think I have a different view on location and staying. I don't think that much about physical location. I don't ask myself that question, and I don't think I exist in just one place. Like we have these meetings, internal meetings at HackerOne, and we're so many employees now that before you say something, you have to say, "I'm Marten, I'm CEO, I'm based in San Francisco." But I say, "I'm Marten, I'm your CEO, I'm based in San Francisco, but my mind is all over the globe." I feel I place my mind anywhere. Like I'm reading a book now about the Amur River, the river that delineates between China and Russia. And when I read the book, I feel I'm there. And if I'm talking to my friend in Pune in India, I feel I'm there. There's a particular reason to be here, which is the delightfulness of human endeavor. But if you are in the San Francisco Bay Area, every ambition is welcome, every idea is entertained. You don't have to come with any particular credentials. You are judged on what you are doing, not on what you did.
Mårten, let's talk about Finland. What makes Finnish people unique, if anything?
Not much. Let's be clear. We are all humans. Our DNA is mostly the same. If you come from outer space and you arrive at this planet and look around, would you see any distinction between these things moving around here? Probably not. You might not even first realize that there's a difference between a human and a tiger, maybe. Like if you really are from outer space. People always want to stand out and be unique, and they want to feel they belong to a group that's very special and distinct. So we have a habit in mankind to develop these glorious stories about why a particular group is so distinct, like the Vikings. They were so strong, and sailors, and they were tough but also fair. And we built this stereotypical picture of them, which might be true for 10% of them, and the others were different. In a way, we are all more similar to each other than we would like to believe. And then when you take a group, it has more diversity than anybody would actually say. So when you ask what's Finnishness, I can give this answer saying there's nothing such. There's every now and then a little bit of a fluctuation in one direction, a tiny distinction from something else. And yes, that is more prevalent in Finland than in Sweden or Germany. So sure, we will find them, but it's not, when you come to a place like Silicon Valley, then you find that it doesn't mean that much. I find people here who are from other countries who in some ways are more Finnish than I am. Or I find, like, you realize that you are not bound. Even if you're Finnish, you don't have to be like Finnish people. And even if you're not Finnish, you can still have Finnishness about you.
Saying that, does Finnishness mean anything to you? Does the word Finnishness or being Finnish, does it have some sort of importance to you?
I would say that you use the group belonging to give you an excuse to drive certain interest of yourself. So you will say, like Finns like to say, we're so honest. I don't think Finns are any more honest than anybody else. Maybe they're even less honest. But it works, because when you say we are honest, then people say, oh, I need to become a little bit more honest. I need to show honesty. I need to understand what honesty means. And then by little, it becomes more of a value. But I think it's a chosen value. It's not that we are bound to be like that, we have chosen to be like that. And in that way, it is useful and enjoyable, and you can sort of play it. You can say, okay, we are generally honest people. Then you can also say that Finns are unusually creative. Like Finns have an ability and a freedom to come up with really crazy ideas. And we are surrounded by other people in that region of Europe where they don't do it as much. They may more favor style or something being big or strong or massive or quick. But in Finland, there actually is a sort of an appreciation of wacky, weird, odd things, and it's okay to do it. Like in a way, Finland is very normative. Like if you don't have the right looks and the right name and the right everything, then you are looked upon as an outsider. So it can be very normative. But once you invent something, if you invent swamp soccer or wife carrying or mobile phone throwing, people will be like, yes, that's cool. And many other countries don't do that. So I do think Finnishness means a level of creativity that you don't find in every nation or every group of people. If you say that my nation is unusually honest, you're sort of also saying that others are not. you can be proud of what you represent, but if you keep repeating it too much, then that's arrogance, and it is actually, you're not a spokesperson for diversity, you're not accepting of other people, you are not open-minded, but you're stuck in some delusional picture of the ideal person from your own group, and you are not that person. You have all kinds of warts and weaknesses, and like nobody is really perfect.
Do you have an American dream?
American dream?
Yes. The dream when we come here to America, or that is one of the most popular exports of America, is the American dream.
I do agree that here you are allowed to dream, and that's what I like about this place. And I came here for that. And I do think I dreamt of glory, business glory and fame. I'm like, okay, I'll come here, I'll see if I'm as strong and good as everybody else, and if I'm successful, I will really enjoy it. So I did come with that mindset. It is one of the fantastic strengths of the US society that there's a way to keep dreams alive here, and it is accepted and supported and part of the culture, part of how people communicate. You can say you have a dream and people will think, yeah, of course you have a dream, everybody has a dream. But there are other cultures where you wouldn't talk about dreams in the same way.
What do I need to do to have your job in the future? What are steps that I should take to get to being a CEO like you one day?
There is a shortage of good CEOs in the world, and a friend of mine, Helgason from Iceland, he said that his father always told, there are several brothers, his father always told them, go for the top, there's less competition there. And in a way it's true. So many people don't want to be CEO, and so many CEOs don't really try to be always the best. So if you go for being a CEO, if you try to be the best, sure, you have really tough competition because there's some brilliant people there, and they are stronger, faster, more handsome, like whatever you look at, you feel like you are inferior, but there are not that many. To be a good CEO, I think you must decide that you are ready to lead. You must believe in people, and you must believe in yourself, but also be humble enough to be coachable. That's just 3 requirements, but they are really hard. Like you may work 10 years on just making yourself coachable. Because we all carry from our childhood some behaviors that may be useful, may not be useful. And getting them out of your system can take time. There are always many paths to success, always. Even when the company is going down the drain and you think it will go under, there is always a path to success, and there's always more than one. Always. The question is, can you find it? And the question is, are you ready to pursue it? And many times we don't find that path, or we see it, but we lack the energy or tenacity to fully pursue it. So therefore, companies do go under. But I don't believe that there's like hopeless cases, actually. There aren't.
Mårten, let's do a word association play to end this interview.
Okay.
I'll throw in a word and you say the first thing that comes to your mind. You ready?
I'm ready.
Blue.
All.
White.
Truth.
Sauna.
Wonderful.
Sisu.
Strong.
Black.
Nothing.
Green.
Spring.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, a brand.
The Matrix.
Pill.
Finland.
Finland. I've heard that name before. Let me think. I don't know. With Finland, I would say youth.
Love.
Yes.
And then what would you say is your tip for the next generation of entrepreneurs?
To build courage to really do it. Like there's excitement, but excitement is not enough, but you must have excitement. And to keep going even when it's shitty and difficult, or even if nobody supports you, So that tenacity, maybe I'm saying Sisu, have that Sisu to do it.